has shown how court can maintain their authority without losing sight of how individual lives are impacted. Justice Roy ensures that younger members of the bar are put at ease and recognized for their efforts. He makes it a point to ask counsel's reign in every matter, a gesture which has motivated young members of the bar. I especially want to highlight his commitment to establishing alternate dispute resolution as a viable path in India, along with his remarkable foresight in identifying the challenges involved. He dissented in the case of NN Global, where he reasons in his scholarly judgment why non-stamping of arbitration agreement would not render it non-existent or unenforceable. This position was subsequently affirmed by 7 judges bench of this court. Across his judicial career, he had guided judges and lawyers alike in realizing the true potential of the ADR for reducing dependency in our courts. In a profession where time always seems to fall short against never-ending demands of the office, he mastered the art of making every moment count. Even during his travels, Justice Roy used to make productive use of his journeys to advance the court work. Justice Roy's invaluable contribution as a judge extends beyond the bench. In his deliberations, Justice Roy brings a distinctive perspective to the table. Like a sage advisor and a counsel, he offers perfect balance of thoughts, insights, and practical suggestions. His genuine concern for people and issues that affect them give him an ability to offer meaningful output and forge lasting relationships wherever he goes. We in the morning today, during the ceremonial bench, Justice Sanjay Kumar spoke about his friendship and how he came to know Justice Roy and how he, by sending him letters and communications, continued that friendship, though they were in different courts. Justice Roy swears by his love for theatre, a passion he shares with those around him, often encouraging his law clerks and interns to attend plays. He is also a trivia buff, a voracious leader, and has served as the president of the Guwahati Music Society. In short, he knows everything about everything. The fact is that he has so many hobbies is quite something, but I marvel one more. His knack of cleverly weaving them into the work. Other speakers have spoken about Shako, The Bridge, and Apne Adnaji, a film that addresses racial prejudice. Justice Roy was the producer of the film Apne Adnaji. This also makes him perhaps the only Supreme Court judge with IMDb credit to his name. Justice Roy has had a remarkable ability to make law relatable to the youth. At an ADR conference last October, while he was the keynote speaker, he managed to explain concepts of arbitration, referencing tennis, Roger Federer, Sachin Tendulkar, and even the devil wears parda. From Shakespeare to comedian George Carlin, his judgments also carry much surprise element, a breath of fresh air from the usual legalese. As the time comes to demit office, after 5.5 years at the Supreme Court of India, his family, his wife, Chandra Sinha, Roy, his daughter Kashri, and Shanti would finally have to share him without his paper books. He would also have the luxury to visit his hometown Guwahati more often. But I would like to remind everyone that Justice Roy is as much a Delhi boy as a Guwahati native. It was Delhi that he joined the bar before shifting his base. The city nooks and corners are just as home to him as the lush green landscapes of Assam. While Court 4 will certainly feel your absence, we look forward to seeing you don various other hats surrounded by art, culture, laughter, and golf. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother. I request Hon'ble Mr. Justice HRISHIKESH Roy, Judge Supreme Court of India, to kindly address the August gathering. Shri Justice Sanjeev Khanna, the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Sister Justice B.V. Nagaratna, Sister Justice Bela Trivedi, and all my brother judges at the Supreme Court. Former judges of the Supreme Court present, Dr. M.K. Sharma, I find seated just next to my wife, Chandani. Attorney General Sri R. Venkatamani, Solicitor General Sri Tushar Mehta, all the law officers who are present, the President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Kapil Sibal, for your creative efforts. I must thank you at the very outset. Vice President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Ms. Rachna Srivastava, Mr. Vikrant Yadav, the Secretary, and all the office bearers of SCBA, Mr. I don't think he's here, the office bearers of the Supreme Court Advocate on Records Association who are present, senior advocates, Secretary General, the registrars, and all the members of the registry, all senior and junior lawyers, my dedicated court staff, Ms. Kamlesh Rawat, Mr. Nitin Talreja, Mr. Deepak Joshi and the team, the residential office staff, Mr. Manish Sethi, Manmohan Rawat, Pradeep Sudan and team, my current law clerks, Tyasha, Ritik, Alisha, Neha, Shreyashi, and the earlier ones, some of you are present here today. There seems to be a predominance of lady law clerks, I don't know. My brother judges from the Guwahati High Court, Justice Manas Pathak, Justice Kaushik Goswami, who was part of my chamber before I got elevated to the bench. Thank you for being here. My strongest pillar of support, Chandana. Not of any lesser support, Kajri, we call her Dora. And finally, the little one who has grown up and is looking so, I say, young lady in your Mekhala Chadar and Muga. My classmate from law, Ms. Meera Hirachandani is present. And Swati, I have to acknowledge you, Justice Sanjay Kumar's dear wife. Ladies and gentlemen, time has a way of moving swiftly. And today, as I prepare to close this chapter of my 19 years judicial journey, I find myself filled with profound gratitude, humility, and introspection. As I look back on my years in the legal profession, I am struck by how much it has shaped me. You start out with idealistic notions, believing that you are the voice of reasons, the champion of justice. To borrow the words of Benjamin Cardozo, justice is not to be taken by storm, she is to be moved by slow advance. Over the years, and having served as a judge for close to 2 decades, I have now realized that pursuit of justice is steady, slowly shaping society and strengthening democracy. As I bid farewell, I do so with a heart brimming with appreciation of those who paved the way before me and those who will carry the torch forward. To quote Tennyson, I am a part of all that I have met. The lessons, the experiences, the camaraderie I have shared here will remain with me always. Preceding members of the bench have shaped the course of justice with their patience, resolve, and unwavering commitment to uphold the rule of law and safeguard the rights enshrined in our Constitution. Each decision, each ruling was not just a legal matter, it was a testament to their character, their values, and their dedication to law. I remember many of them not just as towering figures in the legal field, but as mentors and as guides. And it is their voice that has echoed in my mind, reminding me of responsibility we hold and the profound impact our work can have on the lives of others. To my colleagues, mentors, and the bar, you have been the mariners on this journey. Weathering storms, celebrating victories, with a pursuit to uphold the ideals of our Constitution. And I leave knowing that judiciary is in capable hands. I owe a deep debt of gratitude to all of you who shone light in my legal journey. 42 years ago, I became a lawyer, knowing little of law and even less of life. But with the license to practice, one of my childhood dreams was fulfilled. From time I remember, I always wanted to become a lawyer, although there was none within the family to either inspire or persuade me to take law. So there was no hesitation after I finished my graduation studies in 1979 to take admission in the Campus Law Center of Delhi University. Because I wanted to become a lawyer, even as a final year LLB student, I used to attend the chamber of Shri M.L. Lahoti, whose roots are from Assam, and more importantly, whose residence then was easily reachable from my Jubilee Hall accommodation at Delhi University. I still distinctly remember the first occasion when I had to say something in the court, and I shared this in the morning in courtroom number 1. This was before courtroom number 1, headed by Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, and I had to request for a passover. I was so tongue-tied that at the first instance, my vocal cord was non-functional. And the court did not hear my request. I had to make a second request for a passover in a rather loud voice to grab the court's attention. And if my imagination is not playing tricks, I got a sharp look for possibly an unnecessarily belligerent tone from the Chief Justice. Then there was a family setback as my father, Shri Kishori Mohan Roy, passed away in Assam and I had to relocate to Guwahati. Since I was still in the learning process, I wanted to join the best counsel practicing in the Guwahati High Court. To identify the right one for me, for a few days I followed few reputed lawyers as they went from one court to another while arguing matters. Finally, I zeroed in on J.B. Bachcharji, the senior counsel who undoubtedly was the doyen in the Guwahati High Court bar. As I was already exposed to the topmost counsel of those times arguing in the Supreme Court, like Ashok Sen, Siddharth Shankar Ray, Nani Palkiwala, K. Parasaran, Fali Nariman, K. Venugopal, I wanted to join somebody in Guwahati who could match any of these Delhi-based stalwarts. My acceptance as a junior in the chamber of J.B. Bhattacharya sir was truly a turning point in my professional life, as the chamber was known in Guwahati as the J.B. Gharana, which groomed me to be the lawyer I became. The learnings that one received in that chamber and the industry that is expected of the juniors in the chamber can be realized from the fact that from the stable of J.B. Bhattacharya, 5 became Supreme Court judges, including one Chief Justice of India, few High Court judges, senior advocates and law ministers, and many others went on to become established counsel and law officers in Delhi. J.P. sir was the last word in law in my part of the country. His opinions, court crafts, were of such distinct quality that we the juniors on sir's one of his birthdays gifted him the plaque with the inscription, "The buck stops here." I was making good progress in my law career and the coveted senior designation came to me in 2004. Soon thereafter, I was engaged in interesting legal battles, not only with the stalwarts in the Guwahati Bar, but had also occasion to cross swords with the likes of giants like Soli Sorabji, Ashok Sen, Siddharth Shankar Ray, of course, in my parent High Court. Year 2006 was very significant. Besides enjoying the legal battles in court, as the president of the Guwahati Music Society, with few friends, we were organizing musical concerts. I was happy to be the part of the musical journey with organizational aspects of the Guwahati Music Society, as people believe, and rightly so, I could neither sing nor had any skill with musical instruments. Our crowning glory came when the now famous Shillong Chamber Choir travelled out first time out of Shillong with most of the present performers as school children to Guwahati, where for the first time, besides their conductor Nim Nongkinrid's preferred genre of Western classical, they tried fusion music with an Assamese song. I was comparing the show on stage in the Don Bosco School auditorium. In those times, I was the legal correspondent, as it has already been mentioned, for the Assam Tribune and Press Trust of India, and my law reports were often published. I was also enjoying my theatre exposure. Somehow, I also got roped into doing law-related programs for the Guwahati Doordarshan. At that phase, I had the privilege to interview both Fali Nariman and Soli Sorabji for the viewers of Guwahati Doordarshan. During this exciting phase of my life, Justice B. Sudarshan Reddy, the then Chief Justice of the Guwahati High Court, called me to his chamber one day. He wanted to recommend me for judgeship, but I was reluctant and politely told him that I wish to continue as a lawyer. But he will not take no for an answer and pursued me like anything. 19 years earlier, in 2006, I was really unsure whether to move to the bench or to continue to remain as a lawyer. And of those times, I'm reminded of Shakespeare's Hamlet in the nunnery scene, where the protagonist uttered, "To be or not to be a judge." Eventually, I said yes, as wife Chandana, after being sworn to secrecy, was inducted into the push team by Justice Sudarshan Reddy. So I was pressured in the small team meetings with the Chief Justice in the chamber in his court. And at home, when I reach back and Chandana offering me a cup of tea, she also says, accepting judgeship is not a bad thing. This backstory of two engines, one pushing in the court and the other at home. Of this I learned many years later. The backstory was revealed by Justice Reddy himself in his Hyderabad home when I visited him after about 7 or 8 years of becoming a judge. He freed my wife of the oath that he administered to her before he administered oath to me as a judge. And then he said, you can go back to your wife and ask her that I had sworn her to secrecy, but I free her of that sworn oath. Thank you, Chandana, for pushing me to be a judge. When I took oath, my family and my mother, we all went to court for the first time. And our younger daughter, Sharati, seeing all the lawyers in long gowns, quipped, penguins. They all look like penguins. After I took oath as a judge, as is natural, while finding my feet in the bench, I had to constantly think of how best to conduct the proceedings. There were many to be or not to be questions then. For instance, whether to be a strict judge or not be a strict judge. Be a patient judge to afford patient hearing for everyone, or to afford a patient hearing particularly for the young lawyers. In every case, one has also to decide whether to bring a smile to the petitioner or to the respondent, or just a smile to both sides. I realized then that it is important to have a balance. Also, it is much better, irrespective of how complex or heavy the matter is, to ensure a bit of lightness in the proceeding. This, I felt, was necessary, particularly for the young lawyers who might be struggling with the arguments she has to advance, the complexity of the case, and at the same time not be confronted with the intimidating court environment. On 5/1/2025, just a few weeks ago, Justice C. Ravikumar retired. And suddenly, I found myself as the oldest serving judge of the nation. On the threshold of my retirement, again a question arose as to whether it is better to be a serving judge or a retired judge. But the answer here is simple enough. As I see before me several former judges, including Justice Ajay Rastogi, including Justice M.K. Sharma, who belong to the JP Gharana, who are older to me, and tomorrow I join this exclusive club. Please remember, I joined the exclusive club as the youngest member. And I'll be very happy again to be recognized as the baby of this exclusive group of retired but not tired judges. I'm happy to give up my nomenclature of the oldest serving judge of the country. As the curtains are being shown, I'm reminded of Oscar Wilde, who said, "Some cause happiness wherever they go, and others whenever they go." I hope posterity will place me in the appropriate category. Sayonara to all the members of the Legislature.
I now request Mr. Arijit Prasad Senior Member Executive Supreme Court Bar Association, to read out the message written by Hon'ble Mr. Justice HRISHIKESH, Judge Supreme Court of India, for the members of the Bar.